Joining us now on Bucky and BK, he is third-year Texas defensive end Ethan Burke, part of our weekly conversations with Ethan, brought to you by our great friends at RealTruck.com. RealTruck is the #1 truck accessory brand in the United States. Upgrade your truck game by heading over to RealTruck.com. Ethan, it's great to see you again. How are you?
Yeah, I'm doing great, guys. Thanks for having me back.
Well, it's always a pleasure to see you and talk with you once a week. And how you feeling physically after last week?
Yeah, dude, last week it was a lighter week. Practice was lighter. I mean, I think practice this week's been great. So my body's back, and from what I see, like watching practice, everyone looks to be flying around. So I think physically we're at a good point, honestly.
I love to hear that. Yeah, before we kind of dive into this weekend's matchup against Florida, when we spoke with you last week, you were about to go bowl with your teammates. How did the bowling outing go last week?
Yeah, bowling was fun, man. I mean, right here is the best one, me, so I did have to say.
What kind of scores are we talking?
Dude, we did like a mess around game, and then we got to the round like 6 in the second game, and that's when we were keeping score. I had a 93 through 6, so solid.
Okay,
on
pretty
pace,
good.
175, 180, something like that.
So if you're the best bowler, who was the worst bowler of all the guys who were there?
The worst. I mean, Coach BK himself wasn't too hot.
Really? He's not using the bumpers or anything, is he?
No, he's not. He's not there right now. But
yeah,
I bet you, definitely back in the day, he had it going.
That goes away in a hurry. Just remember that, young man. That
I
stuff
know,
back in the day, it's nice, but it goes in a hurry.
I know, dude. I'm grateful for what I got right now, man. I'm trying to take advantage of it.
Hey, let me ask you this, Ethan. As you get ready to prepare for Florida this week, let me just ask you this. This is the time of the year, coaches will say everybody's banged up, but is there a sense of, I don't want to say urgency or panic, but a sense of it's time to crank it back up, sort of like you did for the beginning of the season, playing teams like Michigan, playing at, I'm not saying reaching the crescendo because it's still kind of early for the crescendo, but things start to ratchet up, at practice a little bit more. The team's talking a little bit more about as you go along. I know you take them one by one, all the great cliches, but can you feel the difference of this part of the season than almost the beginning part of the season?
Yeah, well, we're looking at it as that was the first season, now it's the second season, and anything can happen. And I think we honestly had super competitive practices. I know we had one-on-ones the other day, and it was as competitive as ever. As the first day you do one-on-ones, So I thought that was a really good sign for us. And we discussed this morning, Florida, their record may not display what they're capable of. They're 4-4, right? So the last 5 games, though, they've played excellent. They've had some close games. Georgia was close until the what was it, 7 minutes maybe?
Yep.
Yeah.
So we know what they're capable of. So we know we have to ramp it up, and I think we've done a good job of staying up to where we know we're supposed to be.
Yeah, your coach always talks about liking the 11 a.m. kicks. When I was a college student, I hated waking up that early. I wanted to sleep until 2:30 or 7 o'clock every single day. But for you guys as players, man, it's only the second 11 a.m. kick that y'all have had this season, the first one being at Michigan. Do you guys enjoy the early kickoffs?
Yeah, for me, the later games are nice to sleep in because we never sleep in, but for these, I'm so used to, I never sleep in, what I just said. So getting up for these is normal. It's honestly late for us. I'm getting up at 6 every day. So getting an 11 kick, I mean, still sleeping in. So I really don't mind it at all. And you get it over with, and after you get to spend time with your family and friends,
Ethan, what do you see from this Florida team? As you said, what the record is. Everybody knows what the record is. Everybody talks about their head coach. Is he going to be there next year? Hell, there's a lot of people thought he wouldn't be here for this game by this time of the season at Florida. And I know that has nothing to do with you guys, but when you look at them on film, they've got some pretty like athletes. I mean, once again, as I always say, you won't see very many squatty bodies on this group. There's some big body players at the University of Florida.
Yeah, and that's what I was going to get at. You want to keep like a faceless opponent, but the reality is you got to face these guys, and they're big and sturdy, and they are physical on both ends of the ball. Because I've watched the Florida defense because I think they got some good guys, and then offensive line. We know the interior guys are just as big as the tackles, but that's what we expect. It's the SEC, so they are big, but we're big too. So. We're not shying away from anything. I'm not saying that, but we got to respect them for sure.
Ethan Burke joining us here on Texas Sports Unfiltered, and our weekly conversations with Ethan Burke are brought to you by RealTruck, the #1 truck accessory brand in the United States, with top-selling upgrades for the ultimate tailgate party, hitch grills, powered coolers, weatherproof awnings, and more. Gear up for the football season and bring your truck to life by heading over to RealTruck.com. Hey, Ethan, following up on Florida, look, DJ Lagway, their quarterback, got hurt in the second quarter last week against Georgia. Florida's head coach, Billy Napier, came out and said, hey, we're not ruling him out for this weekend. Are you guys preparing for a couple of different quarterbacks this week? And what's that like as a defensive player, maybe not being 100% sure which quarterback you're going to see on the other team?
Yeah, so if we have any news that he will play, we got to take that and begin to prepare how we should for him. We know they have the third string quarterback, the transfer. So I'm not sure what the offense is going to look with him in. They might get in some wildcats. So I think PK expects, like, he's been there before. He's coached for so long. He has so much experience. So with the quarterbacks being down, they may have to resort to the wildcat. So we have prepared for that, and we're all conscious about what we may need to expect when the game comes.
Do you, this time of the year for you, there are guys who can eat at all given times. They've always got to watch how they eat, what they eat. Do you eat less at this time of the year? Do you feel like once you start to wear into the season, you get to game 7 and 8, your appetite's not as like it was when you knew you had to put on that weight in the summertime? You're going to lose a bunch of weight. You're going to gain some of it back. But how does your weight kind of fluctuate this time of the year, this time of the season?
Yeah, early on, like my first 2 years, I would drop quick, and right now I'm probably a little lighter than I'd like to be. But they give us so much food, man. I'm telling y'all. So like today we met at 4. They had an entire buffet of things, protein shakes. They had these little yogurt things. What else? They got us tacos, like 500 tacos, swear to God, for everybody.
Man.
So you do lose weight, but it's hard not to kind of maintain, So I think everyone does a good job of maintaining. And we have a great nutritionist, and we have so many nutritionist people on the staff, like 7, 8, or 9. So they're always, even though it gets annoying, they're always bugging you. Like, you got to eat, especially if you're light,
They know it. They know if you're down 4 pounds. They know about that, and they know that they've got to get it right back on you.
Well, it's so important. The first thing I do in the morning is weigh in. So, and they know how much I weigh at all times, really.
Wow.
That's every day?
Every day, yeah.
How about that?
Even
all right.
Sunday morning, we're weighing in.
I'm trying to do some math here. So you said 500 tacos. I know there's more than 100 players on the team. Were there any tacos left when you guys were done, or do they all get housed by the O linemen?
So we meet right at 4. So me and Barron are literally, we had lunch at like 1. I'm sitting there waiting for him, we get the early picks of everything. Everything's there. That's how I like it too. So the O line, they might get scarce once they start meeting, because I'm rooming I got 4 O lineman roommates, and they're all there right now. I've been done for an hour now, so they meet later. So hopefully they get to eat it. They really need it. I know they want.
No leftovers for any of the support staff once the big uglies get in there. So, Ethan, I know you're a team guy, and I'm going to ask you this question in a team version a little bit later. But for you personally, right, going into this phase 3 of the regular season, what are some of your individual goals here in the month of November? Yeah,
for me, it's just been, supporting my teammates and trying to get better every week, which I think I have been, really. I feel like I see it in practice, and I think as a unit, a defensive unit. We're getting better. We're communicating better. We're doing little things, I feel like we weren't detailed enough at times throughout the year. And although we've showed we have a great defense, we can be better. And, we're doing little things, punching at the ball, not jumping off sides. So, and like that, I'm doing that as well. I think everyone's doing those little things better. Really.
Yeah, that's sort of what I mean by things start to ratchet up a little bit. The importance of every game from this point on. I mean, the College Football Playoff Committee met last night. They're talking about it. Social media, I know you don't hear the noise outside, but you do hear the noise inside. I mean, somebody's telling you something. You got friends that are out there that are letting you guys know. So it's got to be, like I said, in your mind mentally, that your mind's starting to move a little bit quicker as the season goes on, and the importance of every practice, like we talk about every meal, every time you turn the film, trying to find out about the opposing players, not just the starters that will be standing over you in a football game, but who's that backup? Have you ever seen that backup in a game? I mean, you got to look over every detail at this part of the season.
Repeat that. I lost you for a sec.
I was just saying, at this part of the season, you're looking at everything you see on film, whether it's a starter, his backup, how many games has his backup been in there? What are the moves that he do? What's his specialty? I mean, it's just kind of all the details that you talk about, the eating, the keeping with the weights, the whole work, your weight and everything else.
Yeah, so right now I think is the time we're starting to see like a few guys be out, So
sure.
If it's DJ Lagway or whoever, so we may not have film on a guy at all. So for us, I think a tactic I use is just go social media, see what type of person they are.
Interesting.
Try and understand them, and that's a tool we have, especially for these guys we don't know anything about because they haven't played, And now we're starting to see backups play much more just because the season's so long and it's a grueling season, and we're in the SEC now, so people are bound to get hurt.
That's interesting. I never even thought about it. We're living in this world of social media with you guys. You guys are on social media all the time. I never even thought about it. There's some guy talking a bunch of shit about the upcoming game or about your university. You guys get it all. There's nothing that you miss.
Yeah. Well, if that were to occur, I think we'd see it. And it'd probably be talked about and blasted across the facility.
I love it. Yeah, Ethan Burke joining us here on Texas Sports Unfiltered, our weekly conversations with Ethan, brought to you by our friends at RealTruck. Yeah, kind of following up on that, Ethan, are you a trash talker on the field? I know you're not a big social media guy, but are you one of those dudes like before a play or after a play, will you let the other team know what's coming?
Yeah, I feel like it just depends, man. Sometimes I get in a mindset, and you'll see it in practice. I get crazy. I'll definitely say something for sure. It's not every time, but if I'm going at it with a guy throughout the game, you got to. That's what makes it fun to me, honestly.
Yeah, I love it. All right.
Wow.
A couple more for you, Ethan. You guys know what's at stake, right? Like, big month of November coming up. Y'all still have all of your goals in front of you. A spot in the SEC championship game, obviously a spot in the college football playoff are all on the line over these last few games. How difficult is it for y'all to kind of stay in the moment, right? Like, to keep it one game at a time, to not think about the big picture, to just focus on that day? Because we as fans, we're always like, oh man, Atlanta and college football playoff, all of the excitement for what could happen with this team. Is it tough for you guys internally to keep things just locked in on that day and on that week?
See, I think we're really good at just focusing on today. Honestly, I think they've instilled that mindset in us a little bit. So, dude, we don't even talk about the playoffs or anything. Like, it's talked about a little bit, but why would we focus on that when we have to win 5 more games to make it there?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So for us, I think it's always in the back of our heads, but it's there because we have to focus on this game right now if we want to achieve it. So why not put all of our energy into this right now and worry about when it comes and when we're deserving of it, because we got so much more time.
Yeah, I always think of this as this is one of the reasons that some guys choose to be close to home. This is now a number of games that you'll have at home, big games that you'll have at home, and it's nice to have family around. It's nice to have pops not that far from you, your mom, sisters, brothers. I mean, just people that know how to keep you grounded, just in case you start to slip. you've got those kind of people around you. That's got to be one of the privileges and the pleasures of being, you know, in a school that's right there in your hometown.
Yeah, it really is. I have my parents to make sure I'm all right, and then also like keep me humble.
Yeah.
'Cause sometimes everyone needs that, and so they help me with that, and yeah, it is really nice. I can have friends, but the only thing that bothers me is the tickets, man. It's
always the tickets, man.
yeah. If it weren't for the tickets, everything's smooth sailing. But
Are they after you does it start from after the game that you had on a Saturday? Does it already start that Sunday of the next week?
it's weeks before, man.
Man.
Before. I'm telling you, people are trying to fly in. They're coming down from whatever it is, Tech or SMU, trying to get a ticket. Especially in SMU kids, they're always asking for tickets.
Now, let me ask you this: do you enjoy still? I mean, even in now, you're a veteran on the football team. Do you still enjoy the recruiting process when recruits are around, showing them the University of Texas, letting them understand what you guys are about, what the university is about, the city is about? You still enjoy that? Are you a big part of that?
Yeah, I think something I enjoy is telling the recruits how awesome of a city is. Because I've lived here 8 years now, which is crazy, maybe like 6 or 7, but I'm so passionate about this city, and I think everyone, if you get the opportunity to go here, they should, just because the football's great, the university is great, and then the city is just beautiful. Driving around at night, that's just something I like to do, and look at the city and really appreciate it.
Awesome.
It is.
That's awesome. Yeah, Ethan, do you have 2 tickets to that A&M game for us? We'll take them.
Tickets. We need some tickets for A&M. You're not going to use them. Nobody's going down to College Station from here. You don't need those tickets.
Totally, man. I wish that were the case. Y'all know I'd hook you up.
No need. Ethan, you're the man. Always enjoy these conversations. Best of luck this weekend against Florida, and look forward to catching up again next week.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Hook 'em, man.
Hook 'em, baby.